People, I gotta tell you, and I'm gonna talk about this again and again and again. This is like the first for me. This is my first podcast, but mostly what I want to talk to you about, the Dice Man. What's up with your Dice Man?
Man, what's up with you?
Hey, wow, folks, do y'all know the Dice Man built this? I mean, from the ground up. This guy's very talented. So if you want a podcast, I mean, build it all. I'm telling you, the website and everything. He built every last bit of it, and any kind of glitch we had, he took it out. And so, you know, you can always reach him, and he's one of the best DJs around here. I gotta tell you that. For the kind of music you like, I'm talking about old school, the real music. I'm not talking about that music in a can. The Dice Man can play it. He can make your CDs. He can do all that. Folks, we're licensed. We have our ASCAP license. We're in the process of getting our license through BMI. So the music you hear, when I said, play me a song, Dice Man, the songs that we play are songs that we're licensed to play. So it's no bootleg here, not at all. We were legit, and we hope that you enjoy the show. Again, follow us on Twitter. That's Reaching Out on Twitter. Also, we have Dice. What's that? It's reaching out. What is it for? I guess, am I saying it right? Reaching out on Twitter. Wow, I didn't say that right. That didn't come out right.
I think the Twitter is, let me see, it's Eddie Reach Out.
Yeah, Eddie Reach Out.
That's it.
Folks, how about I'm looking at it? You know, I ain't gonna say anything about my age. You know, I see what I want to say. Sometimes we all do that. We see what we want to see and hear what we want to hear, which creates a lot of problems. I'm kind of like just going to talk about a little few things for you right now. Dice, I do want people to be able to see this. So,
Okay.
yeah, I want to be able to see it. So, whenever we finish with this, and if it checks out okay, put it on our website so they can go there and look at it. And also, it will give you instructions where you can go to YouTube and type in Reaching Out with Eddie, right?
Yeah, it's Reaching Out with Eddie.
And on the YouTube channel, come up and subscribe to it. Folks, I'm going to talk about a couple of things that has happened recently. James Compton been the school board attorney forever, and he was fired by the Meridian Public School Board. Here's how I feel about that. It's like too little, too late. The damage been done to our community. For those of you who are feeling some kind of way about that, I'm not feeling any kind of way about that, because James Compton is a millionaire, and he became a millionaire on our children's backs. He got the job from his granddad at Witherspoon, Witherspoon Elementary School, named after him, the school board attorney who died in that position, and he appointed it to his. See how they do things in this county? Went from the grandfather to the grandson, and I got to applaud the school board for doing that, for getting rid of something that they should have gotten rid of once they had to sign a consent decree, when they was pipelining our children from the schoolhouse to the jailhouse. You can Google that and still read about that, where they had a system in place where our children didn't get educated, but they went from the schoolhouse to the jailhouse, and the damage has been done to our community. It has been done, but while here, and probably in his 60s, if I'm not mistaken, probably about 62, 63, he don't have to work another day in his life off the money he's made being the school board attorney for Meridian Public School. So they get to live good while our children, some of them in jail, some of them even dead, but most of them didn't get their education, and the children been affected. So we're talking about mothers and grandmothers and current children that was affected by the system that Meridian Public School put in place in 69 and 70, folks. And that's really, really bad. I'm going to talk about something else that's really been bothering me lately. Some of you don't know I play guitar in church. I've been playing guitar in church for over a year and a half. I got to tell you what I've experienced since being in church. One thing that I know factually, we're going to talk about factual information. There are over 400 churches in Lauderdale County. Wow, a population that Lauderdale County has about 80,000 people there. So you're talking about over 400 churches for 80,000 people. Now understand that the majority of those people are white folk. We're talking about over 400 black churches. We're not talking about 400 churches. We're talking about over 400 black churches in Lauderdale County. Way too many churches. You got to ask yourself, why are there so many churches? Do we really need that much saving and that much religion? I don't think so. I beg to differ. What I do want to tell you is that there's more racism and prejudice and discrimination and piousness in the black churches than it is in any other. I've never seen such a thing like I've seen the animals in Meridian, Mississippi, Lauderdale County. This church, I'm gonna call out a few, like such as Mount Zion, say Mount Olive, First Union, all these churches are churches that's been here a long time. Do you know that we can send them an invitation and they won't even respond to the invitation? So if you have one Christ that you're believing in, one God that you're believing in, how is it that you feel like you're better than your neighbor around the corner? We went into the first time I ever went into Mount Zion is when we was, I guess, inadvertently invited to the program. We sent them invitation and they don't even respond. They don't even say, hey, we got your invitation, we're busy, we're doing something. And that's what's wrong with our church. See, they have divided us, and they divide us. Talking about racism in America on Sunday where white folks don't go to black church and black people don't go to white churches. Yes, right, that's true. There's no amalgamation among the churches. Very, very little. However, it's more racism in the black community than it is in any other community. We're prejudiced against each other. The damage have been done to our children. Pastor, you have failed the black community. You so busy talking about danger in the lion den, the Hebrew children in the middle of the fire, that you ain't talking about the fire that's being exposed to our children in this community right here. You're not talking about what's going on. You're not talking about our youth that are not being educated, our youth that does not have jobs. You're not talking about any of these things. But these are the things that need to be addressed. How is it that we have 400 churches in Lauderdale County? How is it that we have either a church or a liquor store on just about every corner in Lauderdale County, Mississippi? In Meridian, Mississippi, inside the city limit, you cannot go 2 blocks without running into a church or a liquor store. And I'm just telling you the truth. It's sad when we have been reduced to that. And people are not going to church. They fail. It's just that right now we don't. There's so many things going on. We have so many ways of knowing, determining whether information that we're receiving is right or whether it's wrong. The children are just not following that doctrine anymore. I'm going to switch gears again. I'm going to talk about something else. You're not able to call in today, but I'm just going to tell you something. I want to talk about Wayman Newell. Wayman Newell is the supervisor for Lauderdale County District 2. District 2 was created by the Justice Department for a black person. We were so disappointed in Jimmy Smith 12 years ago, we unelected him. We elected for the first time a white person because it was the only person running against him. But since that time, this guy cleaned the graveyard off. That's all he do now. In 12 years, he's the best graveyard cleaner there is in the whole United States. I'm just got to tell you that now. Wayman Newell sure enough can clean a graveyard. But you know what, folks? He used that as a way of getting himself elected. He has not done one thing in the black community for black folks. He don't like black folks. He live in Daleville. Ain't that it? Daleville, Dalewood, whatever it is. Daleville. Is it Dalewood? Dalewood.
Is it out on the lake?
Yeah, out on the lake, the exclusive community where black folks are not allowed there. Maybe a few, maybe to this day, but they go out there, it's kind of like their country club where we're not allowed. I'm prejudiced, I'm a racist, I'm a white supremacist, I'm better than you are. But yet this man eat off us. How is it that we continue to feed the same person that does not do anything in our best interest? We have a person running against him, Craig Houston, folks. This is our last bite at the apple because the Justice Department has already ruled that there is no federal review, meaning that there's no federal review on gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is when they draw out the district line in such a manner that they will be elected over and over and over again. So they ruled that. So the last census over 9 years ago, next year, is when they redo the census. So every 10 years they do it. What Wayman Newell did is added 300 white folks, white Republicans, to District 2. Had he not done that, he would not be our supervisor today. Imagine what he's going to do next year, folks. He's going to chop it up. So the people that he's paying $1,000, people that he's paying $10,000, people that he's bringing gravel to, he don't have to do any of that after next year because you will have bought yourself, you will have basically shot yourself in the foot, so to speak, meaning that he don't have to pay you because he's going to redo those district lines. And I ain't going to call your name. You know who you are. I'm not going to call your name. But I will, but I'm not. Because I don't want you to hate me. I don't want your nieces and nephews to be angry at me. I really don't care. But here the thing of it is when you hate the messenger, you can't hear the message. So I don't want you to hate me because I want you to hear my message. We gotta stop selling now. Wayne Manure come through your neighborhood and say something real nice to you. It's almost like if the Queen of England come through here because she wave her hand at you, you gonna do all you ready to die for the Queen of England, and she's not even from here. Most of you that are concerned, oh, he cleaned the graveyard. Do you know anybody buried in the graveyard? Do you have a family member there? No, 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 no. So why is the graveyard so important? You mean to tell me that the dead is more important than the living? Wow, how confused are you? Oh, I understand. Your child left here from high school, has not been back. There's no way, there's not a viable income here. So you don't have any children here. You don't have any grandchildren here. You never will. You're in your 70s or your 80s and you vote for Wayne Manure. You don't see anything wrong with that. That's a slave mentality. I really want to curse at this particular time, but I'm not going to because it really upset me. I think for future information for you guys, for you to know, when I slow down and I start speaking like this, it's because I'm really, really upset. And I'm really upset about this, that you keep electing someone to represent you that does not have your best interests at heart. I want to talk a little bit about Lauderdale County Sheriff Department. I got to tell you this, folks. My mama just died, and I'm not getting off subject. And boy, this is the first time I seen an individual, 87 years old. I'm not talking about Aretha Franklin. She wasn't that old. My mother was 87 years old, and there's nowhere they could have had it in Meridian that it would have been enough places for people to sit. It was just that many people came to honor my mother. I said that to say this is that we got to care about ourselves. We got to care about our communities. Um, I'm switching gears a little bit. Is that we got to stop letting things be personal. We got to start rising up above the mountaintop. We got to detach ourselves from our personal feelings, and we got to go up above all this. We got to stop selling our children's future out. It's just like the ozone layer is destroying. We're destroying the earth. We're doing so at a very fast rate. And it's only because people are more concerned with profit and themselves than they is with leaving something here for tomorrow. And we're not doing that, folks. Meridian is in dire straits. I want to say this. I'm going to talk about the mayor for a minute. Meridian is in dire straits. It is. We've had a lot of mayors in Meridian, and a lot of you have found things. Percy hadn't done a stellar job. This is just my opinion. There's a lot of things that he did that he didn't have to do. There's a lot of things that he did that he could have done better. We've had plenty of years to get it right. But here's what I got to say about that, folks. Percy ain't been there 30 and 40 and 50 years. What's happening to Meridian ain't just now started happening. What's going on with Percy? This stuff here happened. Percy inherited a bad store. When the population was already not in the jobs here for black folk. It was already police was heavy-handed on black folk. But I got to say this about Lauderdale County Sheriff Department. When I deviated on my mother, is that I was pointing out how my mother was good, and everything from her is good, and everything associated with her is good. When you got prejudiced ass sheriff deputy that all they do is focus on one segment of community, you guys don't see anything wrong with that, white folk. Y'all don't see nothing wrong with that. You don't see anything wrong with a law enforcement agency just focus on just one segment of community. It's called Lauderdale County Sheriff Department for a reason, meaning that they have the whole county. But I assure you that it's just like the liquor stores and the churches. You can't go 2 blocks without seeing a Lauderdale County Sheriff posted up pulling over some black person, profiling. It happened to my son recently. He pulled up out front there, and the sheriff didn't know that was daddy on the inside. He pulled up. He said, "I pulled you over because you didn't have your seatbelt fastened." Folks, guess what he gave him a ticket for? Expired driver's license. Wow. So that just was what they call a pretext stop. We stop you because you're driving while you're black. We stop you because you're a young black person and got a young black female in the car with you. And chances are, if I stop you, I can find you breaking the law somewhere. We got to get away from that because this is hurting our entire community. It's just look at Maria, and then I said that to say this about the sheriff deputy. I respect Silent. I don't like his ass too much. I'm just gonna tell you the truth, and I know he don't care for me. Just telling you the truth. He's a racist. How do I know that? Because he hired a few token niggas. I'm sorry for saying that. A few token blacks to work. Because you can look at what his other deputies are doing. The white deputies, all they do all day long is on one corner or the other in the black community with their radar detector on, pulling people over, your music too loud, reason. And it's sad that for us to be, again, such a small population in Lauderdale County, we're the majority of the population in Lauderdale County jail. And it's not because black people commit more crimes. It's just because if you focus on an individual, you can create any kind of situation that you want if you focus on it. And that's one thing I don't like that Dubose did is that he allowed for, I think, what I like about James Lee is the one thing that he did do good is that there was no sheriffs inside in the city of Meridian. What we got a police department for if the sheriff, all they gonna do is focus inside? Why are they inside the city? I don't see them out on North Hill Street fooling with anybody. Well, they got some blacks out there now, folks, but that's the community that's majority Caucasus, European. So you don't see them in the neighborhoods with white folks at. You see them in the neighborhoods with not just black folks, poor black people, poor black folks. Here we are riding on it. It's just like the slaves had to pick the cotton. You talking about oppression. You're talking about doesn't have anything, doesn't have any control. This is what Lauderdale County Sheriff Department does. They focus on our children. They focus in the black community. They on 8th Street. They on 31st. They used to park outside of my door until I realized it was my door because I have my eyes on them. I'm going to hold them accountable. Folks, I want to tell you that I enjoyed talking to you. This is kind of like what it's going to be like when I talk to you. I'm going to come back today. Supposed to have a special guest. If not, we'll just play this for you. I think that's what we'll do today, Dice. How about we just play this? Dice, man, I'm going to tell you what I want you to do, folks. You're not able to call in. But, Dice, man, you got to play me a song. Dice, you ready to play me a song?
I can't play it yet.
Well, y'all here? Folks, I call him out. Dice, man, play me a song. Hey, look, hey, but I tell you what, folks, I'm going to keep on going because it is a lot that we talk about.
We want you back live.
Yeah. Yeah,
we want you back live at 6, man. The people are looking forward to it.
Okay, well, we'll be here at 6. I'll be here at 6. I got somewhere to go at 6, so I'll be getting here by